With Vincent, and welcome back to Financial Freedom for the Average Person. And today we're going to continue our explore expenses, and I want to talk to you a little bit about automobiles, cell phones, and a couple other things. Give you some ideas and things that I do to keep costs under control and things I've done over the years. First, automobiles. Really important. Drive what you need, not what necessarily somebody wants you to have. If you go into a dealership, they're always going to be pushing you to get something newer, something more expensive, something beyond what you need. And there's always better options. The other thing is if you owe money in a car, you'll take it in, they'll take that loan, roll it over to another loan, and you can get into a cycle of ongoing debt. So better off, to go back where we started, plan to buy your cars, build up the cash to do it if at all possible, and then go and look at a car that maybe isn't brand new. Places that I like to buy cars, CarMax I've dealt them a lot. Used rental cars. I've probably bought 6 to 8 of them during my lifetime. Very good values. And then also I've done some car auctions. If anything, that's kind of a fun thing to do. But be careful what you get on that. And if you read the book, I have a story in there that you'll probably chuckle or two out of. Okay. So I mentioned using the rental cars, Hertz Car Sales, and I bought several cars from Hertz. I've had some other rental cars, but it's very easy. And I just went on the webpage and I just pulled a couple of them that are local here to Las Vegas. And you can see you can grab a car a year old, less than 30,000 miles on it for, right at 20 grand. You can actually find some quite a bit cheaper than that, depending on what you want. All these cars come with a warranty. You'll usually get what's remaining from the dealer or the car company for their existing warranty. So it gives you a nice start in. And it's much easier to plan for a $20,000 purchase especially if you're looking at like 4 years out. And these run fairly consistent in price. Earlier this year, late last year, they were absolutely giving away Teslas. So if you wanted a Tesla, you could have got it for probably 40% of the list price, going through Hertz. But again, good place to shop for that. Now, buying new or leasing. Okay, I like to avoid the loans if all possible. If I am going to buy new, I go to TrueCar. I don't like anytime you're going to a dealership, they're going to try to scam you. Just understand they're not picking on you. It's what they do to everybody. So I like TrueCar because what happens there, you pick what you want, you send it out there, and the dealers come to you with offers. And I've bought several new cars going through that way. But again, don't let those dealers pressure you. My dad was a used car salesman. I learned quick. Anyone who walks through the door, they're going to try to get as much out of you as they possibly can. Also, sometimes it's good to buy last year's car. So if it's 26 and there's still some 25s out on the market, you can get pretty good prices on those. But again, I like going through TrueCar. It takes that middleman out, and then and it's amazing how much difference you can have on the exact same car by going to different dealers. Leasing often can be a good deal. You're just basically paying for the depreciation, so you're not getting anything out of that at the end. But over those 3 years, if you need to have, you can't afford a loan, you're just paying the depreciation during that time. We'll say I have leased cars before. You got to be very careful that you read the rules, understand them, and apply them to make sure that you don't go over the mileage, you don't have certain damage things that they're going to hit with at the end. Okay. And here's a look at TrueCar. And basically, you just sort out what you want, put it where you're at. You can build your own car, you can look at used, and then dealers will then come back and will make you offers. And you're not committed to take anything, but sometimes if you just want to have fun, you can play with it that way too. But just be prepared to get a lot of phone calls. Okay. Now, once you get a car, you got to make sure you maintain it well. And this is one of the big things to keep the value on the car and keep the cash in your pocket. doing the basic maintenance is critical. And the biggest thing is changing the oil. And if I'm changing the oil, I would change it, myself, and it got to the point where now I'm not doing that anymore. But excuse me, you can always find a coupon for a different agency and looking at deals and sometimes I've actually found good coupons with the dealership, but I never go someplace unless I know upfront what the cost is going to be because again, they're always going to try to upsell you. And one of the things they're going to upsell you on is air filters, wiper blades, things like that. Those things are so easy to change on your own. Just actually it can even be a little bit of fun learning and with the videos on YouTube anymore, you can learn anything on there. So do that. Also, important, keep the tires inflated. You need to check that. I won't say monthly, but every couple of months for sure. And what you want to do, because the tires aren't properly inflated, the tires are going to wear. Those tend to be expensive. Also, you're going to get poor gas mileage. And gas right now is expensive. One of the things that in Utah in particular, I found it's very easy to find a car wash that's having some kind of special. And they'll give you one free or give you a month free and take advantage of it. I like to keep a clean car. I like to make sure it's reasonably maintained. And that way I'm going to get my value out of it when it's done. Also, you're going to get tons of offers for car warranties. Those are virtually always a ripoff. Okay, just stay away from that. And also, one of my basic rules across everything: if somebody calls me, you're probably not going to get a hold of me. If I want something, I'm going to call them. Okay, and I'm going to do my research and ask my questions, not take a sales pitch. So, and the car warranty folks will just hound you to death. Take care of your car, and it should take care of you. Now, cell phones. And we'll have an exercise coming up, not in this section, but later on, where you look at what your expenses are. And so many people I've talked to, and we list out all their expenses. And cell phones often end up being one of the top expenses that people have. Some families I know have $600 a month cell phone bills, and you don't need the latest and the greatest. Certainly not every year. Um, when you look at the way the cell phone industry is set up, there's only three major companies, and they have the towers: AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Everybody else just piggybacks off them and has plans, that they take off. Starlink and going, satellites is an exception, but even they, to get to actual cell phones, they're going to have to go through a tower. Um, and typically, you can get a plan, unlimited, not with your own phone for $15 a month. So that's kind of the target. And any place you go, you're going to pay for that free phone. They get you in, they get you hooked, and we used Cricket quite a bit, which is owned by AT&T. But with Cricket, you could get a phone very, very cheap. Their plans are $30 a month, but the problem was that phone was linked and could not be used on any other service other than the Cricket service. So once you were done with the phone, it was worthless. You're much better at finding that unlocked phone and then take it. You can take it then to other services. So what we did is we used a Google Fi because it had a nice overseas component to it. It was a little expensive though, but they had a $500 off a phone, but you had to keep the plan for 3 months. So kept the plan for 3 months, got the $500 off the phone, took the phone, went from them to, in this case, it went to T-Mobile, which we have now, because they had the other one, the company had a really good international plan. And yeah, so I got the phone, same phone. I think we're on our fourth year with those phones. Samsung Galaxy S22 basic model. It's probably only worth a couple $100, maybe not even that. But I see these phones, some of them now are up going up to over $2,000. And that's just crazy for something that is virtually can be destroyed in a second or stolen in a second, targeted. So a little bit on the plan we have right now. We pay 150 a month. That's a cell phone for Riva and myself, unlimited, pretty much everything, and it's good internationally. Coverage in over 200 countries. We travel a lot, and then along with that, I have home internet in two different properties, and all the prices are fixed for life. And then, of course, with T-Mobile, you get all kinds of things like, we get Netflix, and there's always something. You usually can get a pizza every Tuesday if you just look. Yeah, so but you need to find a plan that is out there for you, and you need to make sure you're in control of it. So, as for protection on the phone, credit cards these days now will cover. Now, if T-Mobile, to get the best rate, you have to actually have the account linked to your bank account. But most of the phone services, you can just pay with a credit card, and then your credit card will have the coverage for your phone on it. Something to check out. Okay. Internet and satellite radio. All right. Anywhere you go, you're always going to be pushed to bundle of services, and that's usually what your best bet's going to be. You can always negotiate and then look at for limited time offers. Almost any time you threaten to switch or you actually make a switch, that company will come right back to you and will try to undercut you or undercut what you got before, and take advantage of that. You need to work it. Otherwise, like I mentioned before, the boiled frog thing, they get you into the frying pan and they slowly turn that heat up. So yeah, everyone's out to get your money. Your goal, your part of the game is to keep that money in your pocket and put it where you want it. Um, Satellite, we'll see where that goes. Okay, we won't know for a few more years, I think, if it's really going to be something that changes things or if it was just a one-time thing. And certainly will have uses outside of the metropolitan areas, things like that. Um, a story, SiriusXM, and this is one of what I'm going to call a subscription trap. So you get the satellite internet in your phone, or they may toss you out a 1-year promo to keep it. And an example I have happened to me this year, or happened to them this year. I had a promo from a year ago. I was paying for satellite radio in my car for $4.99 a month, $5. I think with tax is like $5.40. So at the end of the year, I get a little thing. The new rate is $29.95. Taxes and fees takes it up to, it's like $36, $37. So I immediately call them up and say, or go online to cancel, and then the AI takes over, and the price starts dropping. It drops from $29.95 to $16.95 to $12.95 to $9.95. Now they get somebody on the chat with me. It drops to $7.95. By the time we're done with the chat, I'm paying $4.99 for another month, just like I have for the last 15 years. I go through this every year, and everybody can do that because everything is negotiable. They don't want to lose you as a customer. It costs them nothing to provide you service to your car. So the satellites are already up there. So it's just a matter of trying to get as much out of you as they possibly can. So a little advice. And going on to that, control your subscriptions. You really need to keep track of, and now there's some computer programs out there, actually, some apps that will track your renewal dates and your free trials. And then music services and shopping services. And this is something with my 89-year-old stepfather. He had been paying for premium music. It was like $14.99 a month for premium music from Amazon for like 6 years, and he never listens to music. And what it was it was one of these where he bought something and there was a free trial for 90 days or 6 months, and in the fine print it says this will automatically go over into a subscription. and just a total scam. And I hope companies like Amazon have to pay for that in the future. Also, there's shopping services. Again, things you may buy something, and here's a free trial for this, and we're going to save you this much money by joining this. Fine print. That as soon as that trial's over, whether it's a week or a year, they're going to start charging you. And these things generate a lot of money, and a lot of people fall in the trap where they're paying a lot for things that they don't need or even know they have. Bottom line, make sure cars, cell phones, pretty much anything, make sure you're buying what you need, not what somebody else wants you to buy. Uh, Avoid status decisions. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Geez, this is the iPhone 32 is coming out or whatever, and then this one now has 3D, 3-dimensional whatevers. Do you really need that? And I know so many people that upgrade their phone every year, and they spend thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's just money that you aren't going to have later on in the future. And the enjoyment you're going to get off that phone is pretty minimal compared to maybe the enjoyment that I think you're going to get on a trip around the world or something exciting. Okay. Um, latest phones value traps. And consider delaying your gratification. Maybe, I've always wanted to drive a brand new Mustang. I rented one. It wasn't that big of a deal. But the idea was, look at me in a Mustang convertible. All right. Well, you know what? I ended up buying a 6-year-old car at an auction. Yeah, I only had 20,000 miles on it or whatever. So that, but the money that I made by doing that was probably enough to fund the down payment on the house. So think about that. Um, the money leeches, similar to the thing, the boil frog thing. You get into something, the price steadily goes up and goes up and goes up until you take an action, and that price will go way down. And along that line, everything is negotiable. If someone has a price on something, whether it's in healthcare, it's an automobile, if it's a telephone, it doesn't matter. That price is negotiable. And, it's all a matter of how much you want to work it. You want to get a price that is fair to you and fair to the person that you're dealing with. And if you follow some of those approaches, you'll probably end up with a little bit more change in your pocket. So thanks, and we'll be back with another class here probably in a day or two. Thanks.